Alright guys, so this is the homework assignment or extra practice for the lesson that we did on adding and subtracting rational expressions or fractions. Okay, so number 1 through 3 wants us to add or subtract. Here we have common denominators. So remember, when you deal with fractions and you have the same denominators, you do not have to worry about adding or subtracting those denominators. You simply keep the denominator the same. So you're going to add the numerators here. So 7 plus 11 is 18, so you get 18 over 6x. And then you're going to simplify that. So 18 is the same thing as 6 times 3. And then we have the 6's cancel, so it leaves us with 3 over x. And that's our final reduced form. Here, same denominator, so we're going to simply subtract the numerators, so 23 minus x over 10x squared. Alright, there's nothing that you can do on the numerator, there's nothing that you can pull from 23 and x, so you are done here. For number 3, same denominators, so you're going to do 4x minus 3 over x plus 1. There's nothing you can pull out from the numerator, so you are done there. Alright, so the next thing, we want to do the same thing here. So same denominators, so we're going to simply add the numerators. 5x squared plus 5x over x plus 8. Make sure to pull out from the numerator, so you can pull out a 5, you can also pull out an x. So we got 5x times x plus 1 over x plus 8. And there you go, that's your final answer. That's simplified and that's factored. The reason we do this is just in case we need to factor out anything from the numerator and denominator. Alright, so denominators are the same for number 5, so we got 6x squared minus 12x over x minus 2. We can pull out a 6 from the top as well as an x, so we got 6x times x minus 2 over x minus 2. So here it looks like we can cancel out the x minus 2's, leaves us with 6x on the top over 1 on the bottom. There's an invisible 1 here. 6x over 1 is 6x. So that is your final answer. For the bottom, we got the same denominator, so we got x minus 5 because we are subtracting. And then over denominator is x squared minus 5x. Again, try to factor that denominator. We can pull out an x from the denominator, and that makes it x minus 5. So it looks like the numerator and denominator have an x minus 5 that can cancel out. We have a 1 left over on the numerator, so that leaves us with 1 over x. Alright. Find the least common denominator. So all we got to do is find the least common denominator. So we got a 4, so we're going to pick that as our least common denominator. We got an x, and we have no x's. We have no x's on the left side. Like, when I mean no x's, I mean like we don't have an individual x, whereas like x by itself, alright, on the left side. But we do have 1 on the right side, so that leaves us with an x. We have an x plus 1 on the left side, but we have no x plus 1s on the right side, so we're going to pick x plus 1. Remember, the least common denominator, you pick the biggest out of each individual factor. Alright, so for this one, we need to factor this. This factors into 7 times 3 times x squared, and then this next one factors into, we can pull out a 3x, and that leaves us with x minus 5. So we got a 3, we got an x, we got 1x minus 5. Here we got a 7, we got a 3, we got 2 x's. Alright, so we got a 7 here, we got no 7's on the right, so we got a 7 for our least common denominator. We got a 3, we got 1 3 on the left side, we got 1 3 on the right side, so we're going to pick 3, just one of them. We got 2 x's on the left side, only 1 on the right side. So that leaves us, we're going to pick the highest of the 2, so that means 2x squared, or 2 x's. We got no x minus 5's on the left side, but we got 1x minus 5 on the right side, so that is going to be the one that we choose. So that's our least common denominator. Let's simplify a little bit. 7 times 3 is 21. So 21x squared times x minus 5. That's our least common denominator for that, for number 8. Oops. So now for number 9, this guy can factor. That's a difference of squares. All right. So that becomes a minus b, a plus b. Remember, that's how we factor difference of squares. So so what's the square root of 4x squared? That's going to be 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. And then x times x is x squared. So that's our a. And then the square root of 1 is 1. So this becomes 2x plus 1, 2x minus 1. We got an x here, so that's it. There's nothing else we can do there. And we got a 2x plus 1 there. All right. So we got 2x plus 1 that we can choose from. We got 2x minus 1 that we can choose from. Only 1. And we got 1x. So that's our least common denominator. Number 10, this is already factored, so we don't have to do anything there. This one, we need a factor. So the factors of negative 18 that add up to negative 3. So that would be 6 and 3. It'd have to be negative 6, because negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. So this will be x minus 6, x plus 3. So we have 1x here, and no x's on the right side by itself. So we're going to choose x. We got 1x minus 6, 1x minus 6 here, so we got one of them that we're going to choose. We got 1x plus 3 there, but none on the left, so we're going to choose 1. And that's our least common denominator. Number 11, this is factored, but this is not, so let's factor that. Factors of negative 7 that add up to negative 6. That would be negative 7 and positive 1. So this is x minus 7, x plus 1. So least common denominator, we got 1x on the left side. We got 1x plus 1, or 1x minus 7 for each of them. And then we got an x plus 1 for one of them. Alright? Alright, so number 12, we got to factor this twice. We got two different things that we got to factor. So factors of 28 that add up to negative 3. Let's see here. 2 and 14, that doesn't work. 4 and 7, 4 times 7. It'd have to be negative 4. Actually, this doesn't work at all. So let me erase this here. Let's see. So that doesn't work. Let me try to erase this real quick. So this has to add up to negative 3. So so factors of 28 that add up to negative 3. So we said 2 and 14 does not work. 7 and 4, they both have to be positive or negative, so this doesn't work either. Alright, so anything else? Let's see here. 6 doesn't work, so that's it. So there's nothing else that would work. 28 and 1 won't work either. So that means we cannot factor this one. So that means this is prime, so we don't have to factor it, which is good. One less thing to factor, so we leave it like that. Let's see if we can factor this one. Factors of 8 that add up to 6. So that would be 4 and 2. So this is x plus 4, x plus 2. So our LCD, we got one of these guys, because that can't factor. One of each of those guys. And that right there is my LCD. Number 15. So this time for number 15 and 16, we want to add them. We do not have common denominators. or least common denominator. So we got to find that first. So we're going to factor. So this guy, the net factors of negative 14 that add up to negative 5. That would be 7 and 2, negative 7, positive 2. Alright, so that becomes 10 over x minus 7, x plus 2. We got 2 over x minus 7. So clearly our least common denominator is going to be, we got 1x minus 7 on each, and then we got 1x plus 2 on the right, on the left, but not on the right. So we're just going to choose one from each. All right, that's our LCD. So this guy is done. We don't have to do anything for that one. This one is missing. He is missing an x plus 2. So we are going to multiply him by x plus 2 in order to make it the same. So now our denominators are the same. So we got one common denominator, x minus 7, x plus 2. Alright, this we got to distribute. So we got 10 plus 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 2 is 4. Combine your 10 and 4, so we got 14 plus 2x over x minus 7, x plus 2. Alright, we can pull something out of the numerator. We can pull out a 2. So it leaves us with 7 plus x. Alright, since that's a 7 plus x and that's an x minus 7, it doesn't cancel, so this is our final answer. Alright, and let me just make this a little bit smaller. It's too big here. Alright, let's just make this smaller. Alright. Alright, so now let's go ahead and factor this guy out. So factors of 32 that add up to negative 12. So that would be 4 and 8. It would be negative 4, negative 8. Okay, we got to factor out the top as well. Factors of negative 3 that add up to positive 1. That would be, not sure if that goes nicely. 3 and 1, that will not work. And those are our only options. So this one we cannot do. So this one's prime. We can't factor it. Alright, so that leaves us with, we have x squared plus x minus 3 over x minus 4, x minus 8, that's the one that we just factored here, plus 3x over x minus 8. So our least common denominator is, we got 1x minus 4 for on the left side. We got 1x minus 8 on each side, so we're just going to pick one of them. Alright, so now this guy is missing an x minus 4. So whatever we multiply on the bottom, we multiply on top. Now we got the same denominator, so we got a common denominator on the bottom. And we simply got to add the numerators on top. So we have x squared minus x, or plus x, minus 3, plus, now we got 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times negative 4 is negative 12x. Combine your like terms, so let me use a different color here. So we got our x squared terms there, and we got our x terms there that we can combine. X squared plus 3x squared. 4x squared. X minus 12x is negative 11x. Over our denominators. And we are going to, oops, I forgot the minus 3 here. So we got minus 3. Now, just to be safe, I'm going to see if this numerator factors. So I'm going to multiply 4 and negative 3 together. Alright? So we're going to do the AC method here. Alright, which is, I know it's a pain, but we got to make sure that it does not factor. Okay? If it factors, then we got to do it. So we got 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. So we got the factors of, let's do it over here, factors of negative 12 that added to negative 11. Looks like this works. So it's going to be negative 12, positive 1. Alright, so this is why I verify this. It is going to factor. Alright, so that means we got to, I'm going to focus now on this numerator. So the middle term splits into those two guys, negative 12x and positive 1x. Make sure to bring down the negative 3. Factor by grouping. You can pull out a 4 and an x here. So we got x minus 3. We can pull out a 1 from the right side, x minus 3. Alright, so we got x minus 3 because these match. And then you got your other numbers, 4x plus 1. Alright, so now we can go ahead and plug that in. We can plug that into here. Oops. We can plug that into our numerator. So that becomes x minus 3, 4x plus 1 over x minus 4, x minus 8. In this case, none of the terms cancel since they don't match. So that's our final answer. Alright, that should take care of most of the problems. You should be able to do the rest on your own in practice.